A former president is soon to be president again. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. I'm Faith Woodard.
And I'm Rolly Hoyt. Donald Trump defied expectations, appears to have swept every battleground state to this point. Part of a red wave of support that could put Republicans back in charge of the White House and all of Congress.
We lead off tonight with Bradley Blackburn breaking down the presidential election from West Palm Beach, Florida.
This will truly be the golden age of America.
President-elect Donald Trump picked up a win in Michigan Wednesday afternoon, sweeping the so-called blue wall states that were keys to Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign.
They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American.
Harris called Trump to concede the race and discuss the peaceful transition of power, a theme she touched on while addressing supporters in Washington this afternoon.
We will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it.
Trump campaign officials tell CBS News they will start holding transition meetings immediately here in Florida, so they're ready to take office January 20th.
America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate.
Trump has said beginning on day one, he will give the order to round up and expel all immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. He wants to impose a tariff of 10 to 20% on all goods not made in America. And he says he will end the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
They said he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
After last night, he'll also have more help enacting his policies on Capitol Hill.
We have taken back control of the Senate, and it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
Control of the House remains unsettled. It's the Democrats' last chance at providing checks on Trump's policy goals as he returns to the White House. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
And the House Speaker Mike Johnson remains confident that the GOP will maintain control of the House, while Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says it's too early to call those races and adds every vote must be counted.
Well, it turned out to be a beautiful day here in Little Rock in central Arkansas. Looking at the sun setting across the region here. Well, since we fell back, we're losing that hour of daylight, but it was a gorgeous day. Not so much so in eastern Arkansas where they had more clouds, and we're even hanging on to a couple of light showers, and there could be a few more that develop tonight. The reason, there's a frontal boundary stalling out, becoming stationary. We'll begin to push back from east to west in the next couple of days as a warm front. Hour by hour for the rest of your evening, we'll see those temperatures drop off into the lower 60s by tomorrow morning. And when you wake up tomorrow, still a few 40s over northwest Arkansas. The rest of us upper 50s to low 60s. Lo and behold, more rain in the forecast. We'll talk about the timing of the precipitation in just a few minutes.
All right, Tom, thank you. It was one of the most visible and controversial statewide races. Issue 2 passed last night, taking away the license for the Pope County Casino. And if you joined us on THV 11 Plus, you saw Carter Thweet up in Russellville throughout the evening.
Today, he looks at what's next. What did you learn, Carter?
Well, the message from Pope County leaders and would-be casino operators who were against Issue 2 is that they're not giving up on this casino. But with Tuesday night's results, it could be a long time before they're able to build it, if at all.
The numbers look great, and we hope they hold up.
For Hans Sturitz and his group, Local Voters in Charge, the numbers did hold up. Arkansans voted approximately 56-44 in favor of Issue 2. Taking away the Pope County casino license and making any future casino licenses win local approval first.
We now have a provision in the state constitution that requires a local election to affirm a new casino license before that project can go forward going forward.
But on the other side, Pope County Judge Ben Cross, a casino supporter, pointed to the fact that while the state said yes to Issue 2, Pope County voted no by that same margin, 56-44.
The irony of it is the other side wanted a local vote, and the local vote was had tonight, and it said Pope County residents wanted this resort to come here.
So what if Pope County does still want a casino? Scott Harden with the Arkansas Racing Commission broke down what that process would look like for Pope County or any other now that Issue 2 has passed.
One, we'd have to have a casino group or company pursue getting it on the ballot, meaning they have to collect all the required signatures, successfully get it on the ballot. Two, Arkansans via a statewide vote would have to then approve that ballot initiative. And then three, if that proposed casino was in your county, then you would then vote if you want it as a county.
And Harden says he thinks this would be a long process, one that, including construction, could take 5 more years at the very least. But it might be one that the Cherokee Nation, which owns the Pope County casino license, is interested in pursuing. Their CEO released a statement yesterday saying they plan to defend their investment and protect their license.
All right, Carter, thank you. Another race we followed is the latest push to pass a 1% sales tax increase in Little Rock. Last night, voters turned down the tax once again. The second time voters have rejected a tax hike in the city since Mayor Frank Scott Jr. took office. He promised to spend the revenue on vital city operations like new fleets for fire and police departments, economic development, and improving infrastructure. But now the city has to go back to the drawing board for next year's budget.
And so we're going to have to take a hard look at everything and make decisions based on the available money we have and the priorities and needs of the city.
Coming up tonight at 10, THV11's Ashley Godwin will talk to Mayor Scott about the voters' decisions.
As we continue to keep you updated on election coverage, let's turn to voter turnout now, something we're still keeping an eye on tonight. THV11's Maya Ellison spoke with state officials on some of the trends they noticed this election season so far.
There's one variable that will always affect our votes, and that is whether or not we think that our vote will make a difference, right?
Tuesday's election day in Arkansas sent many voters to the polls, even breaking records. According to Arkansas Secretary of State Press Secretary Chris Powell, the state recorded the highest early voter percentage it's seen, coming in at 72%.
In presidential years, we average about 65% turnout in Arkansas, and that's exactly what we had. It was about 65%. I think it was 67% in 2020. So it might vary a percentage or two, but it's pretty consistent with the presidential election.
According to the United States Election Assistance Commission, the state saw a 54.1% voter turnout in 2020, with 68.6% of in-person early voters. Well, breaking those numbers down, there are about 1,800,000 registered voters in the state of Arkansas. If we're looking at Pulaski County alone, they make up about 240,000 of those registered voters. Now, if we look at Election Day, Pulaski County officials updated their numbers this morning, stating that about 108,000 early votes were casted. And officials told me that this isn't the only trend that we're seeing just in Pulaski County. This is across the state, leaving many with the question of why.
Because somebody may live in one part of the county and work in another part of the county, and the polls are open, certain times and places. We did have some rain, the last day or two of voting.
Powell says 6 counties broke the 70% turnout mark, and about 2/3 of counties across the state were 60%. Saline County in particular was one that had its second highest turnout in recent history, with its first coming in at 73.79% in 2020. UA Little Rock professor Stephanie Davis said fluctuating voter turnout numbers can come from a number of factors, including political parties, demographics, and more, showing the impact early voting can have on Election Day outcomes.
Yeah, in that same way, I think when we look around us, we see people that are going to vote like us. Generally speaking, people don't see themselves as being that, like, I'm not the one vote that counts. And so that greatly affects voter turnout.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV11 News.
Maya, thank you. Another local alcohol-free pocket has turned wet. The latest, the section of Sherwood that used to be Gray Township. A resounding 73% of voters there said the entire city can now sell alcohol. Sherwood Mayor Joe Hyde Townsell and her husband, former Conway Mayor Tab Townsell, pushed the signature drive to remove the dry restrictions there. Supporters say it increases the chances of a grocery store locating in that part of the city.
Although the Democratic Party of Arkansas didn't take a huge victory last night, they're still managing to celebrate the small ones. THV11's Rebecca Brown spoke to the party today and has more on what they achieved in the House of Representatives in just 24 hours, something they haven't done in 20 years.
It is incredible, again, under the circumstances, to feel this little surge of momentum.
Despite a night full of sadness from Democrats nationwide, echoing through the crowd at the election, Democratic Party of Arkansas were the claps of joy of achieving a decade's goal that Chairman Grant Tennille says took time and hard work.
For the first time in 20 years, Democrats have added legislative seats in this cycle.
District 9 for the first time in 20 years unseated an incumbent. And two new rising politicians from District 35 and 63 managed to beat their candidates their first time running. Tennille says it was also nice to see those who ran before secured their seats in the House of Representatives.
And I was proud to see both of those gentlemen persevere.
What is interesting about this year's election is that this is the most Democrats on the 2024 ballot than any year in the last decade. And Tennille says the party will continue to build off this in years to come.
We've got a number who are considering coming back and running again, and I encourage them to do so. I think, one of the things to remember is our candidate who flipped the seat up in Springdale, Diana Gonzalez-Worthen, this was her third time out. And so I do think that there's something to be said for making those connections in the community and growing them over time.
In Little Rock, Rebecca Brown, THV 11 News.
Rebecca, thank you. Now, if you still haven't seen a complete report of the Arkansas election results, we've got you covered. Our election voter guide is now our election results guide. It can get set straight to your phone. All you have to do is text the word results, the number on your screen, 501-376-1111.